This video is to support the Fusion 360 class, making a birdhouse. We are going to use dimensions, parameters, and constraints to model up a birdhouse in 3D and then make a DXF file where we can cut out the parts on a laser cutter and glue it all together. So to get started, I'm going to make some dimensions. So I'll hit the Create Parameters button and add the first dimension, length, which will be 6, and I'll speed ahead here, and this is our final parameter. Voila. Hit OK. Now let's get started by making the floor. So I'm going to create a new sketch. First things first, make sure we're working in inches. We are. Going to hit the Create Sketch button, and I want to be working in the XY planes for the floor, so I'll click here. That makes the Z-axis up and down. However, the cube says front when I really should be looking from the top down. So I'll right click on the cube, set my home view or set current view as top. Okay, now I got everything the way I want it. I'll start by making a rectangle, 2-point type, so it's lined up with the axis, and it will be length, width. There we go. Now we need to put in the perch for the birds. I don't seem to be able to move that dimension, so I'm going to go to Select, Selection Filters. See, I don't have much selected here. Okay, now the selection will be for everything, so that will fix that problem. There we go. Now, another rectangle for the perch. Door by door. We use that dimension. We're reusing dimensions quite a bit, so we don't have to redo them. So I should say we're reusing parameters. I'm going to attach it with a midpoint constraint. You see it's in blue right now, so it's unconstrained. Putting it exactly in the middle there and forcing it to stay there puts it in black, so it's now fully constrained. Okay, so we can stop the sketch, extrude our floor, select what we want to extrude. We'll extrude a distance of ply to a new body. Alright, and there's our floor. So let's go ahead and add the front. But I think just before we do that, let's rename a few things so we can get back to them easier. So this sketch was the floor, and the body we just created is also called floor. Okay, let's go ahead and make the front now. Let me align exactly to the front. Zoom in with the middle mouse wheel. Create a sketch. I'm going to base the sketch off of this face right here. Now when I turn around the object, you can see why I did that. The sketch is aligned exactly where I need it. Put in the rectangle for the front. So I'll create a rectangle, and I'm going to go from here out. So it'll be width and height. Everything worked correctly, no mistakes. So you can see that I have, there we go. I have the rectangle I want. Now I'm going to take this floor and body and just hide them for now. And angle of 45. There. And it's constrained, just plenty long. I'll make another line from the corner of this rectangle through here. You see that he's unconstrained. Well, let's get him constrained with a perpendicular constraint. So if he's perpendicular to this line, we know everything we need to know about this line. He can't move around. Let's trim off our excess. Got it. Okay. Now let's just add our tabs. Let me get down out of the way. So the apply, tab, and we'll attach him with a collinear constraint. Move these guys around a little bit. Now you notice that he's partially constrained. He can only move around like this. So what I'm going to do is add a dimension to fully constrain him. Dimension goes from here to here. There we go. Distance tab. So we're going to reuse that parameter. And now we need a rectangle here, but it has to be a different type of rectangle called a 3-point rectangle, so it can be off at an odd angle. So I'll just start with any old rectangle, apply, and I'll dimension it here. Oops, come on, there we go. Tab, and constrain him with a collinear. And now we see that he can only move this direction. Let's go ahead and add one more dimension. Fully constrain him from here to here. Tab. And now we got him on our tabs on the left side. We need tabs on the right side, so I'm going to mirror him over. In order to mirror him, I'm going to use a construction line from here to right there. And now I'll just right click on him and make him a construction line. You can mirror through any kind of line. It's just that now when we extrude this, we don't have to worry about this line. So let's go ahead and do that. Mirror. Select the objects we want to mirror. Select the line we want to mirror through. And our front sketch is done for now. We'll have to add the door later. So we'll stop the sketch. Extrude. I'm going to turn the floor back on so I can see what I'm doing a little better. There we go. And these are the, click on the parts I want to extrude. Distance of -ply. Let's not do operation cut. Let's do new body. Hit OK. And there we go. We have our front. The next thing to do is copy them to the back. So we're going to reuse this. So when I click on this, I notice that I'm just selecting on a face. What I'm going to do is set my selection priority to try and select bodies before anything else. Now when I click on them, I get the entire body. Right click, move copy. The type is going to be point to point. Select the origin point. The target. Create a copy. Bingo. Alright, so now we want to do the right side. So I'm going to create a new sketch based off of this face here. And we got him. Let's turn things around a little bit so you can see it sketches just how we want them. Get an exact alignment here. Put this out of the way. Now I need a rectangle from here to be our right wall. I probably can attach a rectangle from here to here, but just to be sure, I'm going to project, include this line and this line. Now I can definitely use these lines in my sketch for snapping rectangles to. So I will do that now. A 2-point rectangle from here to here. And good news, we can see that it's constrained. A quick check will show if I change the length parameter. You see it all works. I was pretty sure it would because everything's in black, meaning it's all constrained. Okay, so that's all working. I need to add tabs. So when we do the glue up, it's easier to glue. So I'm going to turn these bodies off. And let's go ahead and make a rectangle here. Tab, apply, and a rectangle again here. Apply, tab. Alright, got two unconstrained rectangles. It'll be our tabs. Let's go ahead and lock them into place. This side's only going to have one tab, so I can just go ahead and use the midpoint constraint. Now he's all black, he's fully constrained. This other one I don't want in the middle, so I just want them collinear for now. And as you can see, oops, I can't select them right now. Let's go back to select, filters, select all. Alright, so now this pointer can select anything. And we see that the tab is constrained in this direction. We need to lock that behavior down. So I'll add a dimension. So we're driving this design with dimensions. Tab. And now he's fully constrained. I'm going to mirror these two from the left to the right, so same as before. Make a construction line. Right click, construction. Perform the mirror. Through this line. Done. That concludes the right side sketch for now. Stop sketch. I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor back on. And there we go. And let's do the extrude. Select everything I want to extrude. To a distance of -pi, I want to go backwards from this arrow right here. Change the operation to a new body. Press OK. And rename him right. And it looks like I've kind of been falling behind in naming things. So this was the front. And this was the back. Okay, and this sketch was the front. And this sketch was the right side. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to copy the right side and use it to make the left side. So let's go ahead and turn this around a little bit. That works. Okay. So I'm selecting faces instead of the bodies. So let's go back to select, priority, body. Alright, so I'll select this body, right click, copy move, point to point, from there to there, make a copy. Got it. Alright, I noticed that my home button doesn't really put this in the orientation I want. So what I'm going to do is pick this orientation to do that, and I'm going to right click, set the current position as home. There we go. And now when I change this, I can get back to this position very quickly. Alright, so let's cut the door into the front. So let me get an alignment here. Go to our front sketch, edit sketch. I'm going to go ahead and hide this floor body just to reduce clutter a little bit. Alright, so I'll start with a rectangle for the door. Rectangle. I'll just I forgot to put the dimensions in, so I'll have to do it now. Dimension, and the door, this will be door, and this dimension will be door, and I'm going to attach it with a midpoint constraint. Okay, so now we got that. Looks like I need to adjust my selection filters again. Go back to the select all, push him up a little bit. I'm going to round the top of it with a circle, so I'm going to select a circle 2-point from here to here. And if I grab these corners of the rectangle right, well, it'll turn out black, as it did. So it's fully constrained. I'm going to cut the bottom of the circle off. So I'm going to select trim and trim that part. And we're still all in the black, so we're good. And stop sketch. Now I'm going to extrude that. Going to use an extrude to cut it. So let me turn my front sketch back on. I'm going to extrude this and this, distance of -ply. And you notice the operation is cut. That's fine. That's what we want. Okay, and now we have the door. So if I show the floor, you kind of see how this works. The bird comes out here, can sit on the perch. Alright, so it's time to make the, let's rename this copied right wall to left. Okay, now it's time to make a new sketch. We're going to make a roof. So create sketch, and I do want to make it off of this face so I get the right angle. Now if we take a look at this, you can see that that sketch is glued to that face. Okay, now I got the sketch rolling. I want to do project include. I want the rectangle to fill this area here, so I need to project include a couple of lines. This one and this one. And that'll make it a lot easier for me to put my rectangle in. So let's go ahead and do that. 2-point rectangle from here. I project included the 2 lines that I really didn't want. I wanted this one and this one, so I'm just going to add them. This line and this line. Okay, let's do the rectangle again. From here to here. Great. We got our roof. Let's stop the sketch. Let's extrude. Now you notice that when I do this extrude, I select this profile, but I don't quite get everything I want, so I have to add that in. Move this around, take a little closer look at it. Everything's fine. We're going to extrude a distance. The arrow is going the right direction for us. A distance of ply. Operation will be a new body. Do not do cut or join. You'll get unexpected results. And got it. Now let's add some eaves. So we're going to use the press pull to do that. So I'm going to go to this face and pull him a distance of eaves. And here, distance of eaves. And this one, the distance of press pull, the distance of eaves. Okay, so now we have some window eaves. Maybe they should be a little bigger. Let's go ahead and just change that from 0.5 to 0.75. I like that a little better. All right, I want to copy this body from here to here. However, it's a little more complicated because of the angles. So in order to copy it, I'm going to mirror it this time. To mirror it, I have to mirror it through a plane. So if I turn the origin on, you can see I have these planes here. They're a little inconvenient, and they won't work for us in this particular case. So I'll turn them off. We're going to go to construct. We're going to construct a plane at a midpoint, mid-plane. It'll be midway between here and here, and then we see our plane pop up. Now we can go to the Create menu and find Mirror right there. We are going to copy bodies, and we'll select the body, and now we select the mirror plane. And now we got the roof on the other side. To fill the gap in this roof, I'm going to do one more press pull. I'm going to bring him up to this level here, so that'll be ply. And now the roof's in pretty good shape. Alright, next thing we're going to do, this is like the minimal effort birdhouse. We'll have another video to put in all the windows and windowsills. We need to take care of the cutouts for these tabs. Let's take a look at where they all are real quick. So this is the interference command. Let's select everything and click on the compute button. And there they are. We need to cut all those out. So this is pretty easy to do. So I'll just go ahead and get started. So this combine tool is also subtract. So we're going to use it for that. So this is our target, the one we want to cut. Our tools are the bodies that are going to use for cutting. Now I really don't want to join these. I really do want to cut. And then you can see our tab cuts there and there. Make sure you select Keep Tools, or else those walls will disappear on you. Press OK. And I'm just going to start speeding through the rest of them now. Okay, that takes care of the roofs. The front and the back need to be cut. And we use the sides to cut it. And let's go ahead and take care of the back. I'm going to cut it with him, and I can actually just barely get that side there. And I think there's just one more at the bottom. And he needs to be cut by him, and I can catch these guys here, and him. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go back and re-inspect. Compute. No interference is detected. So we've cut all of our tabs out. We didn't forget any. Before I continue, let's go ahead and rename a few things. Roof. Roof right. Roof left. Okay, so we're still organized. Now, we need to make a piece of material to lay everything flat on. I'm going to go ahead and just reuse the floor sketch. The wood you're likely to get is 15 by 15, so I'll just make a rectangle. (15 by 15). And I'll just move them so just a little more convenient to use. Stop sketch, and then extrude. Let's turn that sketch back on. Here we go. And extrude them a distance apply. The orientation actually doesn't matter very much. Okay. So that'll be the material that all of these parts have to fit in. The next step is going to be, let me rename that to stock. Okay. We need to use joints. It's actually kind of a trick. Joints are used for machine remodeling. However, I can use it to lay all of these panels flat. So to use joints, you actually have to turn the bodies into components. So let's go ahead and create components from bodies. See, all those bodies are gone, and now we have these components. Components are more sophisticated three-dimensional objects. They have bodies, they have origins, they can have their own sketches. One of the main differences is that components, if you copy a component, if you change either one of those two, you'll change them both. Bodies don't do that. So that's why we started out with bodies, because we needed to copy the front to the back, and we needed them to ultimately be different. So we have the door on the front, not the back. Okay, so now that that's done, let's take the stock and let's ground them so I can't be moving around. I don't see it there. Let's right click here, ground. Okay, so now he won't move. And let's go ahead and get started. So let's create a joint, and it'll be, I'll take the roof and put it right there. And the joint type, we don't want it rigid, we want it to be planar. And so it constrains its movements to a plane. So I can just move them here, or just get them out of the way, because we want to keep joining from the body to this spot right here. So capture position so it won't revert back to where he was. And now I'm just going to speed through it. You notice these capture positions go in the timeline down here, and they become features in themselves. If I don't capture the position, the part that I just moved will move back. Okay, I don't need these sketches on anymore. Oops, I forgot to move them. Alright, here's our joint. Okay, let's orient directly to the top, and I have to move these around so that everything fits. I'll say, I think this one I will rotate. So let's do a free move. Oh, he doesn't want to rotate oh, I selected a face. I want to select a component. Try that. That's better. Okay, everything fits. And I will capture position and get it down into the timeline because this is how I want it set up, and I want to be able to get back to it if anything happens. All right, and this plane right here, we can turn that off. That was that plane we constructed for mirroring earlier. So now we need to create a cuttable DXF file. To do that, we're going to create a new sketch. The sketch will be cutting through all of these parts, and it's going to go right through the middle of them. There's other ways of doing it. This is just my choice for this class. So we start by constructing a plane, another midpoint plane, and it'll be from here to here. All right, so if we look at it, you can see that the plane cuts right through the middle of all these components that we created. Now I'll create a new sketch based on the plane. Okay, so now I have a sketch that cuts through all of the components. It's a little hard to see here. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of orient ourselves a little bit better. Now what I want to do is take all of the cuts. Cutting through these components will create lines, and those are the lines we're going to cut. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to select priority components and make sure I'm selecting these components. Come down here, project, include, intersect. I want to select geometry, and for some reason they're not selecting. And remember our rule that if we can't select what we want, go back here, check your selection filters. Aha, we need to turn bodies on. All right, and then we can see what we're going to put in here. That. Hit OK. Now let's go ahead and hide all these bodies. And this is basically what we're going to cut. Let's go to Sketches, rename the sketch that we just created to Cut Plan. And we save this cut plan to a DXF file. And we'll call it Birdhouse Cut Plan. And I will save it to my desktop. Okay, and let's go take a look at that file we created. Right here, Birdhouse Cut Plan. Double click on it, and we can see here's our cut plan. I think one thing we do want to do is change it to a cutting color, red. Hit save, and save it to the same name, and it's ready for the laser cutter. So that concludes this video. I hope it refreshes your memory. If you're having issues, come see me at the lab if you need to. I'm there Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. guaranteed. All right, that's it.